Okay, so Canva has a feature called Canva Code that lets you build a simple custom website or an app without writing a single line of code. So basically just prompting. And of course, this is just one example of vibe coding. There are other tools like ChatGPT Codex, Cloud Code, and Google Anti-Gravity that you can use to build your own website or apps without knowing how to code. But there is something unique about Canva Code. The overall experience is a lot less demanding. It is less complicated than the other vibe coding tools, and I think Canva really understands that this tool is made to be used by the masses. So if you are a teacher or freelancer or anyone with less technical knowledge, I think it is quite easy to start building something or vibe coding something using Canva Code. So I'm going to show you how you can build your own custom website, and you can even build your own custom internal tool for your own use or your organization using Canva Code, and also some best practices that I think you might want to follow. So here's how you can do it. First, let's open canva.com, and after that you can log into your account, and there is a menu called Code, and of course this is just a shortcut to Canva Code. You can click on that. And this feature is something that you can enjoy regardless of your subscription level on Canva. As far as I know, it is accessible for even the free users on Canva, but perhaps with some more limitations. But regardless, at least you can use the tool. Okay, this is the interface of Canva Code, and I think it is safe to say that it is not difficult. It is very simple and very familiar to the other features, the other pages or documents in Canva. Okay, right here in the Canva AI menu, you can open it to display the chat area, and also you can check out some examples or templates or basically websites that perhaps you can build using Canva Code. So these are some great examples, but I think the idea of vibe coding is to build something that is so unique and might only be usable for your particular use case or organization, and that is the core idea of vibe coding. Now you can also provide some assets. You can upload documents, images, or even videos, and you can also just take some assets from your projects, but for now I'll just focus on prompting the AI in Canva Code. Okay, so right here I want to build a simple app for my perhaps daily use. So this is my prompt. I want you to build a single page app that lets anyone to calculate how much calories and water that they would need to prepare before they start cycling. And the user is able to enter the distance, the body weight, the temperature, and perhaps the elevation gain of the ride. So that is the description of the app that I want to build. Now, Canva actually told everyone that you can start building the website, the app from just a single prompt. But I highly recommend to plan everything out with AI before you do anything. So right here, I'm going to add another line. Let's plan everything out before we start building the website. So it's not going to start the coding. No, it will perhaps ask me a few questions. We want to clarify a few things before the website is being built. This is actually a good practice no matter what AI tool that you are using. Or maybe in this case, Canva is not following my request, and yes, that can happen. And about that topic, I don't think Canva is using the best AI model out there. I think it is using a sort of open source AI model with maybe 100 billion parameters or so, because from what I can see, it is not quite smart. And this is just one example. I told it to not do anything, to just let's plan everything out before we start building the website, and yet it is just start building the website anyway. So it is not respecting my request, but that's something that you probably will experience when you are doing the vibe coding. But regardless, at least we got the app. Now let me just do some quick testing. Let's say the distance is going to be 12 kilometers, the body weight is 70, and temperature maybe 29, and the elevation gain would be 500 meters. Let's calculate that, and we got this answer. So 730 kilocalorie and 600 milliliter of water. Okay, maybe that is a good number. I'm not quite sure. I think we need to do some research about it. But basically, we are able to build the app using AI, and it looks okay. It is not the best looking website ever, but it is something that looks quite right. Now, there is something that I want to change on this page. I think the UI is fine, but I want to have something like maybe have a blue color or something. So you can definitely tell AI to change something about the website. Perhaps you don't want the picture, you don't want to use this particular font. You can do that. And by the way, you can also just select some elements like text to be modified normally in the traditional sense. In Canva, you can select the text and then select the size of the text and also maybe the color, the font, etc. That is possible. So you have basically two options. You can vibe code, just tell that to AI, or you can just change it manually. It's up to you. Just pick the one that makes the most sense. Now, I want to redesign, perhaps applying a different style for this page. And there is one thing or one trick that I'm going to apply. Instead of describing everything, it is easier and faster and more reliable to just provide the instruction that AI needs to follow. And that brings us to this website called design.md.directory. Okay, so this is the page, a website that contains many different styles from different websites perhaps, and you can copy them. You can put them as a document, and then later you can upload that document to Canva code. Let me just scroll around and pick the style. Okay, how about this one, Cobalt product? I'm going to use this, and this is the file, and you can just click the copy button, copy.md, and after that you can open your computer. Let me just open mine, and here on my computer in the file explorer, I'm going to start a new file, a new text document. Now let's call this one design. And then you might want to open it. And then you want to paste everything, which is the instruction of the style that you just copied earlier. Click file, click save, and close that. Here I can easily change the format of the file. I want to turn it into .md. You can keep it as .txt, but .md is the standard format for AI. It's not a big deal if you are using a simple .txt or even .pdf document. That's fine, but .md is just almost bare minimum, and also it is a format that AI can understand quite well. Now, after that, I'm going to go back to Canva, and I'll just upload the document. So you can click the plus button right here, then you can click upload. And also, again, it is possible to provide some references from your Canva account. So if you have the documents or the media files available in your account, then you can just use them to be referenced in the chat. But in this case, I'll just upload the document. So I'm going to just drag and drop that design file, and I will tell AI, hey, please apply the following style into the website. So that's a simple request. Send the query, and let's wait for the result. So this might take quite a while. Actually, not. I would say Canva Code, the AI model in Canva Code, is pretty fast. And perhaps another reason why it is fast is because this is not a multi-page website. Canva Code, at least right now, can only generate a single page website, which is fine, not a problem. I think in many cases, a single page website is more than sufficient, but that is something to know. So you might want to make your website to be as simple as possible. And there you go. So I got a new design. As you can see, the color looks very different. The structure remains the same, but it just changed the font, the color and the overall feel of the website. So again, it is quite simple, and maybe I can add some section at the bottom, like maybe I want to add some guidance, and I guess that's actually a good idea. So please create a section at the bottom that guides the user about how to use the app. Send the query and let's wait. And also some text like that might be very useful, especially if you're planning to make the website to be discoverable for search engines, because AI and also search engines like Google and DuckDuckGo and Bing will look at the context, what's going on the page, and decide whether or not it is something that is worth ranking on the search results. And that is perhaps something that business owners might want to know, especially if you are planning to market certain products or services on your website. Okay, I got this result. It's not exactly the best, but I think that will do. So here, if you're quite happy with the result, you can publish the website or you can download it. If you want to download the code, you can click the code button and then you can click copy code, and then you can apply that, or you can host the website somewhere else. But ideally, I think in most cases, I think it's better to just host the website directly on Canva, because there are some dependencies or basically some assets that are unique to Canva and might not appear on the website if you are hosting it somewhere else. Like this is an image that I believe is being hosted by Canva. So if you copy the code and then you host it somewhere else, there's a good chance this image won't be visible. So that is something, that's one technical limitation to be aware of. Now, to publish the website, just click publish website, and then you can assign a custom domain, or maybe just using a free subdomain. That is totally fine. So for the first app or the first website that you are publishing via Canva, that is going to be the main domain or the main subdomain for your future apps, for your other apps or websites that later you would publish via Canva code. So if I'm creating maybe another app in the future, so let's say I want to have a domain like channel.mycanva.site. So let's say in the future I'm going to have another website in Canva code, then it is going to be under this subdomain. It is going to be just the page of this subdomain, if that makes sense. It is kind of difficult to explain, but basically your first domain, your first subdomain in Canva code is very important. So you might want to consider the name that you are okay to reuse later in the future. But don't worry, if you don't like it, if you change your mind, you can always go to your account and then delete the domain at any time, no problem. Anyway, here you can open settings, and as I mentioned earlier, it is possible to make the page to be fully visible to search engines. Or you can also just, maybe you want to share the website for your internal organization, so you can just publish it, but it's going to be under password protection. So if the visitor doesn't have the password, they cannot see the website. And you can also enable the navigation menu, and you can set up a custom social media link in case you want to share the page to the social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram, but that is optional. Now, what's interesting here is the pages feature. As far as I'm aware, Canva code doesn't have a multi-page feature. So this is probably just a remnant of the Canva website builder, but in reality, in Canva code, you can only generate a single page website. So this is not something that you can use. Anyway, if you are again quite happy with the settings, you can click continue and then click publish. And just wait for a few seconds for the tool to prepare everything, and later it will launch your website. There you go. I'm going to click it. And this is the website, I suppose. Let's take a look. It might take some time to finish loading the website for the first time. There you go. So it looks okay. It looks great, decent. It's not exactly the best looking website, but This is just a quick demo. Of course, you can always go back and then keep prompting, keep adding features, keep changing things on the website. This is vibe coding. And speaking about that, if you want to change something, just tell AI. For example, can you change the image on the header into something else? It's up to you. Send the query, and later it's going to do its own thing. I think it's going to use some assets or stock images in Canva, and I think that's actually a cool thing about Canva code. It has access to millions of videos, millions of images that can be used for your website, so you don't have to manually open other websites to copy and paste images into your project. This is something that is available directly on the platform. And there you go, we got a new image. And after that, if you want to publish the website with the new version, click publish changes, and then the tool will prepare everything again and will republish the website. And also I like the fact that it is very simple, like there is version 1, version 2, version 3, etc. So you can always go back to the previous version to look the previous state of the page. It's always nice. So I guess that's basically how you can build your own custom website or a custom app using Canva code. Again, not exactly the most sophisticated vibe coding tool, but I think it is simple enough that anyone can start building their own website using AI. So if you learned something from this video and you want to know some other cool AI use cases or tutorials in the future, then you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you on my next video. Have a great day.